As I make a new file, I choose 2K by 2.2K pixels as my canvas size. I like square canvases, but lately I've added a few extra pixels for just a little more space. It usually helps me with composition, but this is just a headshot, so it's not very important. Here I'm just starting with a basic shape and building from it. The style I'm sketching in is quite soft and rounded, so using the default brush with the opacity by pressure setting works just fine. And by the way, I chose Photoshop over Illustrator to create my characters, as it's the software and art form I'm most familiar with, but I would like to try out vector art sometime. Not today, but I will someday. I tried to make sure that the lines in the hair, particularly in the front, flowed in a way that conveys a similar direction, or some sort of understanding of gravity and perspective. If I could go back to redo the sketch, I would like to make my lines a bit cleaner, but it worked out in the end, so I'm satisfied anyway. There are some mistakes in this drawing, particularly with the head shape being disproportionate, but this is just an early concept, or a mock-up as I like to call it, so I think it's okay. Shading in black can make the drawing look flat, but I changed the layer type to overlay to attempt at countering that, and as you'll see in a minute, I do some adjustments at the end to make it less flat looking. As I start colouring, you'll notice that my colours are a bit unbalanced in luminosity on their own, but the shading I did prior helps tie it all together. They're also desaturated, which is something I struggle with, but I do my best to fix this later. Here you can see me messing with my line and shading layers. I'm searching for a setting that adds the original luminosity but doesn't overlay too much black. I use this method with most sketches, but it didn't actually work here. So I move on to the curve setting. It lets you change the RGB values and luminosity by making a curve. You can set points on this curve, and here I'm doing my best to make the colours and shading I made look as good as I can. It's a pretty long process because I really have to rely on my eyes and judge what looks the best. If the original colours are too inconsistent or tricky, then this method does not work easily and can take a long time to make them look good. I ran into that exact issue here. The skin tone was tricky and was really bothering me, so I actually had to paint over it directly. I later used the adjustment option, exposure, for some final touches, and then just called it a day. You'll see me just adding the last few touches here. There's really not much to comment on, so I'll let you just watch. And that's about it. I think it looks alright. I hope you think so too. That's how I made my first sketch. I hope you enjoyed the video, and have a nice day. Don't forget to stay hydrated.